So my name is Duff Bangs. I'm a creator, owner, principal, licensed architect for ModForm, LLC. I'm a residential and small commercial architect and project management practice. So I'll get into a little bit of my history, what led me to architecture before I get a little bit into my business here. So I grew up here in the Wenatchee Valley. I actually grew up on that side of the river. I still call it all one town, but it's so. I attended Eastmont High School in the Eastmont School District over there. My love for architecture started at a really young age. I think that stemmed from playing with Legos and Lincoln Logs and Tinker Toys. I just had this fascination with building things and creating things and using my hands. And I really enjoyed drawing too from a young age. But funnily enough, I drew floor plans and elevations of homes. I'm not sure why. So here I am in this 4th, 5th, 6th grade, like drawing floor plans, and I don't know, I had this fascination with homes. Probably, I don't know, this old house was on TV quite a bit at my house, so it's probably some sort of fascination with that. But my parents encouraged me to pursue architecture from a really young age, and I just thought, hey, this is cool. Let's give this a try. So with that, I took most of the classes I took in high school were centered towards prepping for architecture school in college, and so I was taking things like math, science, calculus, physics, but I was also taking a lot of like wood shop classes and construction tech classes because I wanted to look at the whole system of creating a building, not just the design side, but also the construction side. Like I feel like that's extremely valuable for architects to know the construction side too, right? So it helps resolve details and what have you. But so I graduated from Eastmont in 2000. I attended WVC, got my AA, transferred to WSU, got my bachelor's and master's in architecture, and then I moved to Seattle, where I worked for a very modern design build firm. And that was a really great experience working for this firm. They were both design and build, so it was both the architecture component, but also the construction component as well. So we would take projects from the design inception all the way through a complete home. So that was a great experience to have. And then it was also a very modern firm as well. So that was probably where a lot of my design sensibilities have come from, is focusing more on modern centric. But after living in Seattle for about 10 years, 11 years, just never really felt at home. Didn't really feel like it was a really close, tightly knit community. And also the weather was not enjoyable over there. So my wife Ashley and we decided that we needed to change from Seattle. We didn't know necessarily where we were going to go. We just knew that we needed to get out of Seattle. So growing up here, I have family and friends, and we thought, hey, let's just give Wenatchee a shot. Just move back and see what happens, and if we love it, we'll stay. If not, then maybe we'll move down the road. So we moved back and just felt welcomed immediately. Like it's just a great community. Everybody's friendly, and we were very, very happy to be here, and I'm happy to be back. But so Ashley, she's a social worker. She was able to find a job, and I was thinking I needed to find a job, needed to make some money also. So I looked, I thought about, it seemed like there's two paths. I could take the more traditional path and work for somebody and basically fulfill their career dreams, ambitions, goals. Or I thought, or I could do that for myself. I could create my own thing and fulfill my own goals and aspirations. So at that point, I thought I should create my own business. But I didn't know much. I knew the process of architecture, but I didn't necessarily know the business of architecture. The business side is a part that you don't learn much in school, probably any discipline, unless you're in business school. So with that, ModForm LLC was born. So That's like I mentioned before, I specialize in residential design and small commercial design with the emphasis on modern design as well. So looking at filling a void or filling a niche for modernism in Wenatchee Valley, North Central Washington area. So is that a minute or is that?
You have 30 more seconds.
Got 30 more seconds? Okay. I can read.
How have you figured out the business side of it that you didn't know? How's that going for you?
It's good. I mean, I've been in practice for a year and a half now, and I feel like I'm learning. I've learned quite a bit before I started the business, but a lot of it was just reading books, listening to podcasts, just trying to learn as much as I could from that side. And yeah, and I just, putting all those pieces together, it's fairly, I shouldn't say simple necessarily, but it's a service-based business. So there's I don't have to worry about, I'm not creating a product. So there's that whole side of business that I think would be very complex. But being a service-based, I'm the sole proprietor. It's fairly straightforward. Current challenges. Well, I found a great workspace, so that was one challenge that I
Tell us more about your workspace.
Mission Street Commons is a great shared workspace located on Mission Street. No, I think that was one of the first pieces as I was creating my business is where, what's my office, where I'm going to work. I worked at home, worked at Mela, but having more of an established professional place to work like Mission Street Commons, I think was a huge boost for my business as far as professionalism. Current problems, that's a good question. I've been thinking through that. I think more of what I'm looking at is my future growth as I expand my business and grow my business and evolve. Eventually, I'm going to be bringing on employees, and I think that's a piece or an element of the business I don't fully understand yet, but I don't know. Yeah, it's something I need to continue to learn. So I think that's probably something in the back of my head I've been thinking about quite a bit is what it's going to take to expand. And then, that's a good question.
That's an open question.
I know.
It's actually really
It's
refreshing that you don't have a laundry list, but you come
no.
you've been in business, you're like, let me pick one out of 25.
Yeah. I think I know. Yeah, it's just. That's a good question. It would be probably most likely more of the skilled architecture side, because I feel like I can hire out those pieces as far as the administrative side. I think there's a certain threshold or a certain level of probably any business, when you have a couple people, the administrative side just is taken care of internally, or you're hiring out, just contracting people out. So I think initially where I see my growth is eventually, and probably like many businesses, is bringing in the experts in the architecture side of things and having them run that portion of the business, and then me taking more of the business side, and running and organizing that side of it. But that's a good point. I don't. I mean, that's another piece. I'm sure I'm going to find problems as I as I develop and expand. But I think what's interesting with the model with the old architecture firm I worked for, we brought on interns and essentially brought them on for a summer, 3 months, and if they seemed to be a good fit, then we'd offer them a job the following year or whenever they graduated. And typically they would stay on for, a year and a half, and as we continued to grow, we'd actually bring them on as full-time employees eventually. But I don't know if that would be a similar model where it's kind of a test trial of finding interns who are still attending school and working, short bits of time. But I think that works in the architecture industry fairly well. And they're paid. They have to be paid as architect interns. But yeah. You're hitting it right on. I heard a podcast that talked about this the other day too. I know this is a good point. I think that's something I have to do some soul searching on because I've got into the industry to be an architect, right? The love of design, but I think there is a point where you're saying exact, like you do have to, if you want to be the business owner, there is a point where you eventually just give up the architecture side and become.
Or you hire someone to do that.
You are hired.
You want to think ahead about that instead of getting stuck and then scrambling.
That's a good point. Yeah. You're helping me find problems. No, that is really helpful though. I mean, that is helpful. I think if anybody else has problems too, for me to think about. No, and it's true because these are sort of things that I don't even know these problems exist. They're going to exist, but these are sort of things that it's really important to think about. And so I don't have an answer for you, but I'm going to start thinking about it today. And yeah.
So I might have a solution for these problems that we're creating for you.
Sure.
A couple of books that are coming up to mind, and I'm sure several of us in the room have read these already, but Radical Candor by Kim Scott.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've read it.
No.
I'm listening to it right now, and she's going into how to manage people and how to help people understand if they want to be a manager themselves.
Oh, interesting.
And so it's something that you can apply as a leader in your company, but also you can use it to do some self-reflection about who you are as a worker in your own firm. She talks about superstars and rock stars and what she calls shooting stars. And that some people are really just solid rock stars in their role. So if your role is as an architect, be a rock star in your role. Or you can be a superstar, meaning that you want to try managing and being an architect and then moving on and on and on up the levels. And then shooting stars are just people who are going for the top as fast as they can.
Interesting.
The other one, and I forget who the author is, but the title of the book, and I don't think it's been released yet, but I heard him on a podcast interview, is I think it's John Maxwell, and the title of the book is Leadership. And he's talking about the importance of how we lead in companies today and how that leadership is shifting from the times of 25 or 30 years ago when our parents were working for corporations. Being a leader means a lot of different things. And so I think those might be good books for you to read through or to listen to and whether you want to be a manager or an architect and how to share your vision. I imagine when you hire on a second architect, you're going to need to have a very clear vision of what you want this firm to be so that person can come alongside you and shine in that mission.
That's very good. That's a very good point. Online. So it's a physical. I don't have the physical gallery necessarily, but everything's digital, right? As far as
Address?
218 South Mission Street.
No, but
So-
are you online?
Oh, email address. Yeah, it's ModForm LLC.com. So I have a portfolio of work from my previous firm and then projects that I've been taking on here in North Central Washington as well.
The projects that you've taken on in this one-ish year of your business, where do you find these clients? Are you working directly with homeowners? Are you working with builders? Or how are you navigating that?
Yeah, so it's primarily homeowners at this point. And since the type of design I'm doing is primarily custom design, when I moved here, that was part of my networking marketing plan. Was when I got here, I reached out to real estate agents, builders, just anybody I could. These are the sort of people who on the, I call it the front line, right? As soon as somebody wants a home, they're purchasing a home from a real estate agent, and they say, okay, now I want to remodel this. Do you know any architects? So that was my plan, to reach out to real estate agents. But builders, similarly, people will reach out to a builder initially, and same deal as if the project is becoming custom or something, they're going to need to find an architect or designer to draw this plan. So, and that's actually worked extensively. And now people are just finding me just through SEO online, just Google search, basically architect Wenatchee, and it comes up.
Do you have all the business you want right now?
Yeah.
Are you at capacity for where you are right now?
Yeah, I'm well above and beyond capacity right now.
That's another problem.
Yeah. So, but no, that's a good point. And I'm always thinking of the 6-month and then the 12-month steps beyond that, right? So if there's projects that people are thinking about, and I really encourage people to also, as they're thinking about design, really think about it early on, because I do have people occasionally coming, hey, can you draw this starting next week and have it done for me in 3 weeks? And that's not realistic whatsoever. So I encourage people to think more in the 3 to 6 month range, and that actually helps me to plan my schedule as well. So, yeah.
So with regard to that, and back to the administrator versus architect, because this is the same in all professions,
Mm-hmm.
you might want to start keeping a time diary for how much time you're spending on architecture and how much on business.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you think, and you're thinking about, I'm going to hire another architect because I'm so busy,
Mm-hmm.
Architect is more expensive than an office manager.
Sure.
And so when you look at your
Interesting.
time breakout,
Mhm.
and a lot of veterinarians do this, they're like, oh, I got to hire another vet. No, you need to hire a manager, and then you can be a vet full time, which goes back to
Interesting.
when you're bringing
Okay.
in your income
Mhm.
and you're spending X amount of time being a manager, then you're billing yourself as a manager.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to bring in somebody who doesn't cost as much as you to do that part.
I
and
see.
then you hire an architect
That's-
to do that.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I do track hours and all that as well, but I didn't think about it in that, yeah, because I'm essentially charging the same amount across the board.
Yeah,
You're a very expensive admin.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So Deb, just to interrupt really quickly, this will be our last question because maybe we're keeping him on time.
I do have to run, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so go for it.
Yeah.
So this is just a quick one. It sounds like you're on the cusp of hiring someone, and it's not quite clear who that might be. But one thought to keep in mind is if you can get advice on that at the forefront,
Mhm.
because often when you're hiring an employee, there are certain things you want to have in place when they start, as opposed to 6 or 12 months later when you realize there might be problems. And so I would just
Gotcha.
encourage you to reach out for legal help, and there's a cost benefit that you have to weigh with that. It feels really expensive as an entrepreneur to pay someone by the hour for advice, but a little bit at the front end might save you later. And there's a local organization that's great, it's the Apple Valley Human Resource Association.
Oh, okay.
It's HR professionals from the valley. They get together and have meetings and share advice and information. It's really inexpensive to join, and you'll get hooked in with the right network of people. That
Oh, cool. Okay.
So Deb, now that we've given you all kinds of problems to worry about, I want you to take a look at these people and realize that the answers and the help you'll ever need is all right here,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
with the people that we know. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here today.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.